So today we're going to be talking about Nick Nimmin. He's a YouTube creator, YouTube influencer, and consultant, one of the best there is. We're going to be talking about how he became successful in life and on YouTube, but also some secret YouTube tips for you towards the end. So Nick, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. I'm pumped up and excited to share some awesome information with the listeners today.
Okay, great, man. So first of all, and I know I seem to be saying this in every interview lately, but I do start with the people I love and respect. I am a huge fan. You're one of the people that, well, you're the first person that got me, my channel pumped. And I actually started fixing my YouTube channel. And we actually did a collaboration together right in the beginning, which helped me out a lot. I just wanted to say thank you officially for that, man.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. You know, when we first started talking, the very first conversation, you sent me a link to your YouTube channel, yeah. and I saw it, and right away I was like, hey, man, this guy's making good stuff. He's just sharing tons of value with people, and that's why I wanted to have you on my channel. Like typically, because my channel was a lot smaller than it is now as well, but there was a big gap between our numbers, right? But because of the value that you were giving people and the quality that you were giving people, because you were so giving to your audience, that resonated with me right away and made me want to get you on the channel as fast as I possibly could. So I think that was a great segue into our relationship.
Well, yeah, I think at the time you had 40 or 50,000 subscribers, maybe more. I had like maybe 80.
Yeah, it was low. I know it was under 200. Yeah, for sure. I know it was 200. Yeah, I think I might have had maybe 30, I believe, somewhere in that
30,000.
But yeah.
Yeah, that was insane. And we actually did a collaboration on my channel about how a small YouTuber should just aim high and aim big. Since my channel was about sales and success and how to grow in life, you were on YouTube, and it just gave a good, a great vibe, a great collaboration, if you will. Nick,
absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about your life and what it was that made you want to become a YouTuber, or ended you becoming a YouTuber?
Well, a little bit about my life. I grew up in the Midwest in the United States, and as I was growing up, I had the same thing that a lot of people do in terms of, you have that ingrained into you in terms of, I need to go get a job after this, and or after I get out of school, I need to go to college, get a job, and go that whole route. But as I was finishing up high school, I'll be honest, man, I wasn't a fan of that whole thing, and I decided I didn't want to do college either, and that I wanted to try to figure out how to do something else. So I started the entrepreneurial engine in my brain, so to speak. And my brother was self-employed at the time, and he reached out to me, and he brought me in to work with him on some stuff right out of the gate. And keep in mind, I was like 19 at the time. Right. And he brought me in to work on some stuff that he was working on and to help him out with what he was doing. And I wasn't necessarily working for myself at that point, but he was kind of, helping me understand the mindset, of thinking differently when you work for yourself. And I caught the bug right during that time, and then ever since, in one capacity or another, I've been working for myself. And I've been through, like a lot of people in our situation, Paul, I've been through a bunch of different businesses, because I'm not a kid, right? So I've been through a bunch of different businesses. I've been, I've had stuff to where I've done well. I've had stuff to where I just sucked and had horrible results out of it and completely failed and had to close up shop. And all of that stuff has created a really awesome journey for me, and has given me a lot of really good insights in terms of things that work, things that don't work, different skills that you pick up trying different things and stuff like that, that I'm able to apply to what it is that I'm doing now, which has been wildly successful. So, throughout that whole entire journey, all those twists and turns that you take, even like for anybody that's listening to this right now, even if things are down, and even if you're like, hey, like, I don't know how I'm going to eat this month. Yeah. Right. Like, even if your back's against the wall like that, right now, even though things might look bleak, if you just stay focused, keep trying to go towards what it is that you are trying to achieve, the skills that you're learning right now, you're going to be able to apply to the future things that you're doing, even if what you're working on right now is not going the way that you currently want it to.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit more in detail later on. But real quick, so would you say that your brother was your mentor in a way?
Without question. Yeah, no question about it whatsoever. And I think that having a mentor or mentors in your life, be it family members that are doing things on their own or doing things that you would like to do, friends that are doing things that you would like to do, and even paying people I mean, like, people are weird about coaches and consultants and all that stuff, but I think that paying to get that learning curve cut down is extremely important, because basically you're, whatever money it ends up costing, you're basically tapping into the knowledge of all the failures that somebody's had before you, so that you can avoid a lot of that stuff, and so that they can guide you along the way. But, even without the paid stuff, right? Like, just having other people, other like-minded people, or other people that are a little bit further along than you, or even in the same position that you are, so that you can, bounce ideas, so that you can say, hey, I'm getting ready to go through this particular thing. I'm getting ready to make this particular move in my business. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Exactly.
And more often than not, it is, oh yeah, I tried that like 10 years ago, and this is what happened to me. Right. So having that mentorship is extremely powerful.
Also, every mentor I've talked to, they all had mentors. There's no one that doesn't have one. I think it's very important, as what you were saying before about who you hang out with, or the person, the people around you. You are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. If you hang out with 6 millionaires, you'll be the 6th. If you hang out with 6 drug addicts, you'll be the 6th. Right. And that was told to me by one of my mentors.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and part of that also is because my view on that is that that's true because certain people do certain things. Yeah. So it's like, when you're hanging out with entrepreneurs, and you're hanging out with successful people, the way that they think, the way they communicate, the way that they share the information, the way that they look at the world is completely different than that drug addict that you're talking about, that's looking at things with that negative way. Things are always happening to me. I'm always getting screwed over. It's a totally different type of mindset that you have in that situation than you have in the other one. And if we like it or not, as strong as we might think that we are, all of that stuff, it influences us if we like it or not. Like all of that constant bombardment of, oh, well, this thing sucks about this particular thing, or, hey, it's not a big deal. All that is that's just a little, bump in the road. Don't even worry about that and keep moving forward. Like those two different angles, they have an impact on your brain, if you like it or not, in the way that you see things, even if you try to push through and try to stay strong, in the process.
Well, that's the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset is always somebody else's fault, is everyone else is always lucky. And a growth mindset is like, what is he doing different? And that's the first thing when I started doing YouTube. I'll be honest with you, before we even talked, before we did anything, the first thing I did, I'm like, okay, who's successful? Let me see what they're doing. And the first person I thought about, not successful in sales, because I looked in sales who's successful, it was Grant Cardone.
Sure.
But I'm like, how can I get an edge, which I haven't yet, but how can I get an edge over time? And I'm like, okay, if people are teaching growth, how to grow on YouTube, maybe they know, a few things more about how to be successful. And I reverse engineered most of the stuff that you were doing and other people were doing in that area. And I kind of like saw how it was, well, I tried to reverse engineer it. And talking to you just made everything a lot easier, by the way.
Sure. And like you were saying, like on the sales end, you would lean on those people for that information. But the same exact thing applies, though. It's like, if you're trying to learn, sales, then you want to, go and listen to the people that are good at sales. If you're trying to learn YouTube, you want to learn the people, you want to listen to the people that are good at YouTube. And, YouTube, just like sales, like if you don't know anything about sales, you don't know the process to take people through before you actually close them. Exactly. And then your approach is completely screwed up. You're basically breaking the system that is proven to work, so to speak. The same exact thing applies to YouTube, right? Like there's just certain things that you do that work versus going in there and trying to reinvent the wheel, so to speak, that may work, but on the other hand, in most cases, it might be a little bit more of a long road for you because you're trying to reinvent the wheel.
Well, what I'm going to do here is just say promise, picture, proof, pitch, and I'm going to put a card right up here for somebody to see the sales process for YouTube ads, movies, anything on how to sell the 4 Ps. And then obviously there's more to that, but that's the basis of all sales. YouTube videos, even the way you start, I've noticed you use this method. You might call it something different or whatever, but it's that method right up there.
And Paul, one thing that a lot of people don't know about me is for 10 years, I had a door-to-door marketing company.
Oh, wow.
So I was out there. Did you know that?
No. That was one of my next few questions, actually.
Yeah. So for 10 years, I had a door-to-door marketing company. So in addition to going out there and knocking on doors and going through that sales process myself, I was actually training my crew to go out there and sell stuff also. So I initially started it out with 3 other friends of mine. And then as things got successful, then, we started having our different opinions, split our different ways. And then for the most part from there, I just did it myself. And then every now and then I'd bring in like a crew member or something like that. But at one time we had 20 people out there hustling for us, which was fantastic. Wow. But, like you have to, train these people how to go through that process and how to overcome objections and when to close, when not to close, when to, keep the whole thing going. You know what I mean?
Do you believe you can train anybody, or is a teacher only as good as a student?
I think that I can train pretty much anybody, but, let's be honest. Some people just shouldn't be doing sales. Yeah. Because it does take, you have to be able to handle that rejection. You have to be comfortable enough in your own skin to be able to look somebody right in the eye and tell them to go get their checkbook, or tell them to grab their credit card, tell them to sign on this particular line. There's a certain thing that you have to have in order to actually make those type of things happen.
Yeah, although sales is in everything, right? You got either you're selling yourself, you're selling a product, you're selling an invention, you're trying to get an investor, whatever. You're trying to date a girl, Sales
or you're just trying to win which movie you go to. Hey, honey, I think we should go see this movie instead of the movie that you want to go see, right? I mean, that's a sale. You're making a sale if you like it or not. You're making a sale if you're trying to persuade in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Would you like to watch this movie that I want to watch now or later on?
Right.
Tell me something. You're also a graphic designer, and that's the first thing that caught my eye on your channel was your thumbnails and your artwork, which was great. You actually designed my book cover, Success IAO, Improvise, Adapt, and Overcome. And I wanted to know, do you think that it played an important role in your growth on YouTube, and is it needed?
Yes, I think that it played an important role on YouTube. I don't do actual client work anymore. I have a service, and then through those services, I have other people do it now. But I definitely, without question, think that it had an important role because people respond to, just like sales, right? There's certain things that you put together, certain ways that you structure things, certain ways that you use the fonts, certain ways that you use colors, and all of that stuff that people respond to. And I was able to take my knowledge of that and then apply that to what it was that I was doing on YouTube. And, over time, people definitely responded to it.
Yeah. So talking about books, do you read books?
I'm an audiobook guy. Every now and then, if I'm traveling, and because I'm in Thailand, in case anybody doesn't know, but I'm from America. So if I have to make that trip, then often I'll bring a book with me just for the sake of having something to do, right? When I'm done listening to the audiobooks and my ears are burned out, it'll give me something to do. But for the most part, I listen to audiobooks so that I can listen to those while I'm drinking coffee and just kind of gaze out the window and just kind of, soak in what it is that they are saying.
Have you read my book?
Of course. I've actually got it on the shelf right back here. Absolutely.
By the way, do you have any other? Oh, first of all, just to conclude, do you think reading is vital, and do you think it's a must to succeed in life?
I don't think that it is a must to succeed in life. I do not think that. What I do think is educating yourself continually. I think that as soon as you start saying, "Hey, I know everything," then you're flatlining, so to speak. But if you're inputting your brain with whatever it happens to be, if it's reading, if it's listening to audiobooks, if it's watching YouTube videos to educate yourself on certain topics, whatever those things are, constantly educating yourself and constantly just trying to improve and expand your knowledge set makes you a smarter person. I mean, there's no other way to really put that. The more information you're putting in, the more information that you have to work with.
Exactly. Do you have any other hobbies? And
I love making videos. I got a drone recently. I love flying the drone around. I love hanging out with my girlfriend, love hanging out with my brother, and some friends. Of course, my whole YouTube thing that I do is fantastic. But besides that, man, I'm like, if I'm not, hanging out with somebody, or I'm not, working, we'll just put that in quotes as working, because I love what I do and I don't really consider it work. But if I'm not doing that, then typically I'm just like hanging out, not doing much. I'm not big on TV or anything like that, but I just like to hang out and just kind of, watch people and, do that whole thing. So it's
all part of learning. Instead of reading books, you read people.
Yeah, kind. I just like to look and just have my own, maybe I'm crazy, I don't know, but I like to just watch people and have my own thoughts on, like, oh, that's interesting how, that couple sitting over there, how, they're both in their phones. They've been in their phones for the past like 15 minutes. And,
Yeah.
the guy said something to her and then she just kind of looked up for a second and then looked right back to their phone. So there's no real interest going on between that couple. So chances are their days are probably numbered. Like that kind of stuff, right? I like to look into things like that, which I'm just making it all up in my head.
Yeah.
But, I just like to, play those little short movies in my brain.
I do the same thing, but because I study a lot of body language, I actually tell my girlfriend, like, look, she's interested in him across the street, across the bar. And I'm reading body language and everything, and she's like, no, it's important. Like, see the guy that walked in, he's the owner. The way he walked in. Tell me something. What was your first attempt as a YouTuber, Nick?
My first attempt as a YouTuber was actually uploading to the channel that I have now. That was my first attempt. Basically, my journey, so to speak, was with like you mentioned a little bit ago. I started in graphic design as far as what brought me over here to Thailand in the first place. I started with graphic design. My brother was doing graphic design, so I came in with him. He taught me how to get clients online and all that good stuff. And then I was over here for a long time, and we were running that business, and it was doing okay, but we ended up being dependent on a handful of bigger clients. They ended up being a pain to work with, and it caused us a lot of stress. And we had a conversation that went something along the lines of, man, this sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. We need to find something else to do.
Yeah.
And then we said, well, what are we going to do? And neither of us had an answer because we didn't know what we could do.
Right.
So we both went out and started exploring different ideas. My one thing that kept coming to me, because I meditate every day, and one thing that kept coming to me during the process of trying to work through that in my brain was YouTube. And I was resistant to it. And then finally I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I basically said, okay, well, I know a bit about internet marketing. I know, graphic design. I know a bit about video, because when you do graphic design or any type of work for other people, other skill sets end up being involved, because they come to you and they say, hey, do you know anybody that does this? And you think, well, I maybe I do know somebody that does that, but if I learn how to do it, then I'm going to make more money. So I'll figure it out myself. Right. Yeah. But, that gave me that skill set. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to start making videos for YouTube, and I'm just going to build in an email list to them. And then I'm just going to go after email marketing and then see if I can make anything from that. So I did that, put up my first video on YouTube, did a handful of videos. And then another YouTuber reached out to me, another YouTube help person that's in the space. He reached out to me and he said, well, actually, first he reached out to the whole community and said that he was accepting videos for his 100,000 subscriber milestone, which is a pretty big deal on YouTube.
Yeah.
And when he put that notice out, I was in the same Facebook group that he was in. It was a video marketing Facebook group. And I saw that notice, so I made a video, sent it to him right away. He got back to me and he said, hey, I love how you present it on camera. Your quality is awesome. The sound's awesome. I think that you would be better purposed on another type of channel. If you want to do that, then I'll work with you, help you, work it all out. And typically he charges a lot of money for this kind of stuff, but he said he would do it for free because of the potential that I had. And he said that he would end up, working it out on the back end, so to speak. So I said, okay, I'm totally in. So I stopped my current channel, went and did that channel for like 8 or 9 months. It started doing really well, but I overdid it. And he advised me as well. I got to make that clear. He's like, hey, make sure when you start doing these videos that you only do as much as you can comfortably sustain, because YouTube is a long game. Yeah. And I'm like, absolutely. And then I went all in, right? Yeah. And I did way more than I should have, and I ended up burning myself out after about 7, 8, 9 months. And then after that process, I said, okay, these videos take me a really long time to make. The videos that I started out originally making, they don't take as long because I know the information off the top of my head. I can talk about pretty much whatever. Yeah. So I said, okay, I'm going to go back over to that channel, and then I'm going to start talking more about video stuff, internet marketing stuff again. And then I started doing that. And then I did a collaboration with another YouTuber, Brian G. Johnson. And that video was about how to rank videos on YouTube. Yeah. And that did well. We got a good response, and people started asking me more YouTube related stuff. So then I started making videos answering their YouTube related questions. And then during that process, just kind of snowballed. And then now pretty much every video that I cover on my channel is YouTube related, which is cool because I'm obsessed with it. So it totally works out. But, that's kind of how that whole thing evolved.
I like Brian G. Johnson. But before you mention him, you actually mentioned another person who helped you out with 100,000. So he was another mentor.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and really he literally is Daryl Eves is his name, and he literally lit my spark, so to speak.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is when people first start YouTube, there is, and this is something that I really try to hammer home with people. When people first start YouTube, they underestimate the reach that you may have. They understand the importance of certain elements in terms of like branding, in terms of, you know, the structure of your videos and that kind of stuff. They underestimate the feedback that you get and how you're going to respond to that feedback. They underestimate most of the things that happen when a channel starts doing well, right? Or the things that make a channel do well.
Yeah.
And working with him, he was basically able to guide me through the process of, you know, hey, this is how you successfully launch a channel. These are the most important fundamental elements that you have to make sure that you're using. These are the places online that you go to stay up to date on the information so that you know what's happening in the space. This is the specific stuff that you need to read so that you can learn how to use the platform properly. This is the stuff you need to keep an eye on in your analytics. And started, you know, basically training me and taking me through that whole process. And, you know, over the course of that process, it literally got me hooked on it. I started loving going into my stats and being like, oh, this is crazy. Like, you know, when I say this particular thing in a video, then, you know, at that particular point, for whatever reason, people start dropping off. Let me go look at some other videos and look in the audience retention reports there. And, oh my gosh, I just discovered something. It was like mining for gold. And I still look at it that way. But it's like mining for gold because basically you're looking at, like think of it this way, Paul. Like in your case, okay?
Yeah.
So you're out there doing sales, okay? Yeah. If you could have a little graph, right, of their attention span of every person that you were selling. So like as you're sitting there talking, you just see their interest just kind of going down, and then you say a certain thing, and then you're like, whoa, I just had a big drop. Yeah. Then you would know every time I go into a sales presentation, I'm never going to say that thing again. I'm going to restructure, right?
And you naturally,
the same exact thing.
And you naturally do it in sales. When I'm doing face-to-face sales, I see reaction, I see body language, and when I'm talking on the phone, I hear the tone. But on YouTube, the only thing you have to go by is statistics, and that's it.
Yeah, but that's value because people can fool you, right? Like from doing door-to-door 10 years, I mean, you talk to a lot of people, right? Yeah. And people can fool you because, you know, like as an example, like you and I, Paul, because we both have sales experience, right? Right. So in mine's door-to-door, I did corporate sales because I had a commercial janitorial service. I also had a handful of other things that I did that I had to do sales for as well. But we have sales experience. So if I started trying to sell you right now, you would be able to identify it. And because you are also in sales, you would be able to modify everything it is about your being, so to speak, to make me think that either you're interested, you're not interested, regardless of how you think, right? But when you have the actual data to work with, how people are responding when nobody's watching, that's gold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Absolute gold.
Well, I'll tell you something because I'm also in technical analysis. I used to teach technical analysis in the Forex market. And I'll tell you this right now. When I started doing sales, what I did was I did an experiment which worked. I'll just, you know, tell you the long story short right here. It worked, and that was applying technical analysis to sales reps. And I actually saw when they're about to go up, when they're going to go down, if they got lucky, if they're uptrending, and everything like that. And it was amazing how technical analysis also works in people, because basically technical analysis is psychology of markets, right? And I was having this discussion in another interview, actually the one before this one with Dan from the Chart Guys. Is a very known technical analyst in the crypto market and in the stock exchange, and he agreed that technical analysis is everywhere, everything. It just relates, and that was something that got me ahead in my sales career, if you will, as one of my own discoveries. I haven't seen it anywhere else used by anybody else or anywhere, and. So tell me real quick. Actually, you don't have to be real quick about this one, but I'm gonna take my time. That YouTube videos real quick. Tell me, comment down below. What does it actually take to become a successful YouTuber, Nick?
Time and genuine effort. Time, genuine effort. Strategy also helps. Making sure that you're adding value to the people that are watching your content in some way, shape, or form also helps. But time, effort, and continual learning, because the fact is there is a learning curve. Like I was telling you before, there's a lot of things that you don't think about. when you first start. A lot of things that you don't know to think about because you're not in that space. So educating yourself, just like anything else that you want to do in life, educating yourself on how the system works, educating yourself on what people respond to, educating yourself on how to use your equipment is extremely important. And really making sure that your presentation, not just if you're an on-camera personality, but even if you're doing, whiteboard animation videos, the way that you're expressing yourself, the way that you're using your voice, the tone that you're coming at the audience with, all of that stuff, you have to spend a lot of time learning how to fine tune all of that so that you can really, really give yourself a nice lift in terms of momentum based on what the audience is responding to. YouTube actually says, instead of worrying about what the algorithm wants, worry about what your audience wants, and the algorithm will follow.
At the end of the day, we always sell ourselves, no matter what we're selling or where we're selling. We always sell ourselves. They can get the exact information by somebody else, but they choose to watch you because they like you, your presentation, and the way you say it. And that's what people need to understand on YouTube. So I guess my next question on how important is learning sales on YouTube is already answered.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Like, learning sales and YouTube, actually, if you come to YouTube with sales experience, you're going to be light years ahead, because there's some key elements in terms of growing your channel, right? Of course, you want to have content that people resonate with. That one's a no-brainer. But there's little tiny details that add up to a lot over the course of a video library. As an example, like when you're asking somebody to subscribe to your YouTube channel, a lot of people say, hey, like, comment, and subscribe. Right at the end of a video, but they don't have anything else. But if you lead a viewer, right, and this comes from sales experience, if you lead them and you say, I'm trying to think of an example here, but if you lead them and you say
mindset and sales training videos like this one.
Say that again.
If you like success mindset and sales training videos like this one, or if you want to learn how to sell more, then go ahead and subscribe. And, if you're enjoying this video so far, give it a thumbs up. If you agree with what I just said, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think about that particular thing that I just said down in the comments below. So you're leading them into it in some way. Yeah, extremely powerful. And it also comes down to, like if you're doing presentation style stuff, like you were just saying a little bit ago, the whole body language thing and all of that, how you're actually positioning yourself in the frame, in the camera, so that you can, give yourself that visual perception of authority right away based on nothing more than how you're actually presenting yourself in the frame also. Exactly.
I mean, just all of those little details that you use in sales, you can directly apply to what it is you're doing on YouTube.
Well, one thing we have in common in videos is the way we use our hands, right? Like I noticed you were doing this. I was
and
doing
our
this.
haircuts. Yeah, we have the hand stuff and we have our haircuts in common.
And the haircuts, and the beard.
Yeah, and the beard. Yeah,
and even the glasses sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. True.
But do you believe that this is a quick in-between question, because I know a lot of people that are going to be watching this are also into growing on YouTube, not just success mindset and how to succeed, and we'll get back into that in a second. But do you believe that you have to be niched down in your channel? Now, I'll give you an example. Me personally, I'm not, because I talk about success. I talk about, success mindset, sales training, and also investing, which, okay, they're close enough related. And I know that if I was just in sales all this time, I would have surpassed many sales channels. But I just like to, I have a book on success and a book on sales. So voila. Sure. And now I'm working for an ICO in investing, and I'm an advisor for their ICO on investment. So I kind of like talk about those three things. But do you think that you have to be niched down, or can you be broader with your channel?
Yes, you can be broader with your channel. If you want faster growth, especially if you're using YouTube for professional reasons. If you're like a vlogger and you're just like, hey, I'm just going to do this as I go along, and if it grows, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. Then you can pretty much do whatever you want. But if you're trying to say, okay, I'm going to take YouTube, and instead of describing YouTube as a video platform, I'm going to describe YouTube as a tool, right? For professional reasons, I'm going to describe YouTube as a tool, and I'm going to use YouTube as something that is going to help me drive traffic to my website. It's going to help me drive sales. It's going to help drive awareness about what it is that I'm talking about. It's going to help drive awareness about me as a personal brand and all that stuff. If you approach YouTube as a tool, niching down is extremely important. And the reason for that is if somebody watches one of your investment videos, Paul, and they're there, they don't care about sales. They care about investments in cryptocurrencies, right?
Yeah.
So they go and they watch one of your investment videos, and then they go to your channel page and they see, all of this sales stuff. Right away, you're breaking what it is that they're interested in.
Exactly.
And you're reducing your chances of earning them as a subscriber.
Yeah.
However, they watch that investment video and they go to your channel page and they see nothing but investment videos. And they're like, wow, every single video on this channel has something to do with my specific interests, right?
Exactly.
Then you're massively increasing your chances of turning that viewer into a subscriber, because you have an entire content library based around what it is that they are interested in.
Yeah, I totally
and
agree.
like in your case, like you would be better off having a sales channel and having a crypto channel or an investment channel.
Yeah,
because with that you're creating that connection with that particular audience for each thing. Now, the success mindset in sales, those pretty much go hand in hand. You're still under a similar umbrella.
Yes,
right?
Because those
do go hand in hand.
Just goes like, people don't understand that, but you need it.
Yeah, right. And once people start looking into that, especially salespeople, then they see the value in it. So there, I think that's an okay fit. But I think like the investment versus the sales.
I'm starting to cut down on those. I'm starting to cut down on those. Yeah, I have a couple of them on there. I'll probably make 2 more just to get them onto another channel or onto another page, or just so people know I'm into crypto and investing as well. And that's it. I'm done with that. I'll just throw them into other playlists. It's the only way. Sure. Hey, we grow, we learn. Just like in sales, I'm a sales expert, okay? And I don't like talking. I'm not very modest, but I believe I'm one of the best out there, right? But when coming to video, a lot of times when you're giving advice to other people or you're selling, you're doing what you preach. But once you're doing a channel or you're making a video for that matter, even though you've done presentations with thousands of people, when you're on different video, it kind of like you either forget, neglect, or ignore. Forget, neglect, and ignore what you're supposed to be doing. And I noticed this with me. And throughout the time, I started implementing my own advice as well as other advice I learned. And that's how you learn and you constantly get bigger, I think, is by learning, knowing that you don't know, or knowing that, okay, I am doing this mistake. I know I'm doing it. Okay, I'm comfortable doing everything else now that I'm supposed to do. Let me add this on. Let me add this into the pitch or into the channel or whatever, yes?
Yeah.
What do you believe is the difference between a good YouTuber versus a bad YouTuber?
A good YouTuber is somebody that's continually trying to learn the platform as much as they can. They care enough to keep an eye on what's going on in their channel, and they care about their audience. Like they care about, what it is that they're putting out there. They care about, in my opinion, like a good YouTuber is somebody that is, in addition to, they're knowing how to swell their own channel, they're also actually putting good out into the world with their channel. So be that in the form of entertainment, be it in the form of informing people on current events, be it in the form of, educating people on stuff or inspiring them, motivating them, that kind of stuff, but actually putting positive stuff out there. Bad YouTubers, even though they may be successful, in my opinion, bad YouTubers are the ones that are out there spreading negativity into the world, polluting negativity, because there's a lot of kids and a lot of very easily influenced kids on the platform. And because of that, I think that all of the channels on there that are just wreaking negativity, they are doing a disservice to the world, really, by hopping on all the drama issues and all of that stuff and trying to amplify that, because they're not providing value in terms of something positive. They're providing value in terms of feeding into the negative mindset, which is limiting for people.
Yeah. Tell me, I totally agree. Tell me about some of your successes in life, Nick.
Successes in life. I've lost 100 pounds in my life, which is great. Yeah, I was before I actually moved to Thailand. Huh?
Weight, not money.
Oh yeah, weight. Right.
For any British people out there.
So that was a big success for me. I got pretty big because at the time I was working a lot. So because of that, I just stopped taking care of myself, didn't think about it. So I got pretty big, and then I lost 100 pounds, which is a pretty big accomplishment. Oh, yeah. YouTube is also great. My commercial cleaning service that I had, that was a success. My door-to-door marketing company was a success. I'm a dedicated and loyal person to friends, and I think that that's a success. Yeah. And I prioritize the relationships that I have, which I also think is a success.
Okay. Now tell me about your disasters in life and how you handled them.
Okay. Disasters in my life is I did have a handful of things that didn't work out for me. I did a in-room guest directory service for hotels, to where basically I would go out, advertise for the hotels. I would basically make the book free for the hotels, and then I would basically I would approach the hotel, and I would say, we're going to do this in-room guest directory for you for free, but we get to sell advertising for it. That was that business. We did a handful of hotels. It worked out okay, but it just wasn't. It just didn't get the juice that I was hoping for. So failed. And this one's going to sound crazy, and this is the first time I'm saying this like on the internet. But I also did a dog crap cleaning up business.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So basically what it was is, cause I grew up in the suburbs, so I had that good life. Right. But I grew up in the suburbs, and one thing that a lot of people don't like to do is pick up dog crap. Right. But everybody's got a dog. So I started a service to where basically we would go out there, and the idea was we would start it, and then we'd hire people for it. But we went out there and we started picking up dog crap for people and all that stuff, which was cool because it was recurring. We had them on like monthly contracts and stuff. But really quickly, you start thinking, wait a minute, what am I doing? Right? And then at that point in time, you're like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. We're done. Failed. Right? So failed at that one. What else?
Could have worked though.
Yeah, it could have.
Everybody in the if you went by neighborhood and got a monthly subscription from the neighborhood, and not only by person, but by area, you would have been cleaning out money, man.
Right, but my mind didn't work that way at the time, right? And that all comes down into learning. Now I would do that, but at the time, I didn't know. I didn't know to have thoughts like that,
now,
right?
How many people watching this? How many people watching this right now have no money? Are wondering what they're doing? We just gave them a great idea, but they're not going to do it. They're not even going to think about it. I do that,
and that's the difference. That's the difference, right? Because there's the you know what? I'm going to give this a shot because I want to make it. Like, I don't know what that thing is, right? Like when you're younger, right? It's like, I don't know what that thing is, but I'm going to try everything that I can because I want to make it. I want to play life by my rules. So I'm going to try, if it means picking up dog crap for, X amount of hours a day, then I'm going to give it a shot because that might be my ticket to where I can start doing that. And then I can hire people to do it for me. And then I have, this dog poop empire.
Yeah, right. So, we identified the need. You identified the need back then. You took action. You are now finding the solution of what you should have done by talking here, but no one's going to do this. You guys watching, you're not going to do it. I know you. You're like, wait. No, you're not going to do it. You're not.
Yeah.
But you should.
Right. And I'll be honest, I would recommend that you don't do it. I'll just go ahead and put that out there. I'll be honest, I'll recommend that you don't do it.
Try it.
Yeah.
If I had no money right now, and I tried my other ideas, which obviously I always have ideas, right? But if I had no money right now and I had to experiment, I would definitely go door to door. But I would do it a bit differently. I would get a paper and pen, go door to door, and get a neighborhood, or I'll start with one street and get a subscription, and I will close them on your neighbor's done it. Aren't you? Don't you care about it? You know what I mean? You gotta do it. There's no, I'd go by. I get referrals.
Most of your neighbors are using checks, but if you want to go ahead and throw it on a credit card, we can do that too.
Yeah, $10 a week. $10 a week times by 100. Okay, that's $1,000 a week for a street, a small one.
Yeah,
and then just scale it up. Hire people to do it. All you have to do is go
and a little side tip. Any side tip for anybody that's seriously considering that? Look for yards with fences.
Yeah, there you go.
Look for yards with fences. Yeah.
Or I would go by the street as well. I would actually pick up from the actual street. I don't know what it's like in America, though. Maybe the government does this. Greece is full of shit. That's why I like the idea.
It probably just earned a handful of thumbs down for the Greek crowd.
Yeah, actually, one of my mentors, I'm not going to say who because he's in my book, but I'm not going to say which one because it was funny though. I actually laughed at this. There's €100 fine if you don't pick up dog crap, right? So he was walking his dog. His dog took a crap. We kept walking because we were walking together that day. He's like, "Did you know there's a fine of €100 to pick if you don't pick up dog crap?" He's like, "Yeah, I would rather pay the fine."
Right. People
don't like doing it, man.
Right.
So tell me something. Do you believe in luck, and do you think you got lucky?
I do believe in luck, but I believe that luck only happens if you put in the work first.
Yeah.
I think that the more you work, there's actually a famous quote, I can't remember what it is, but something along the lines of, the harder I work, the luckier I get, or something
Yes,
along
it
those
is.
lines. But it's like the more that you do, the more chances you have of that luck coming your way. I mean, of course, there are people that get lucky, that people win the lottery, that kind of stuff. People, stumble onto an opportunity or a business idea that they would have not had otherwise. Somebody sitting at a coffee shop here and somebody else say something like, wow, that's genius. I would have never thought of that. But even then, they still have to take an
Yeah.
action in order to make it
And
work.
that
So,
and that's here, right? It's mindset. And
It
luck
is.
is preparation meets opportunity, in my opinion.
it is.
I got
And
very lucky in life. I got extremely lucky. Yeah, I can say most of my successes are contributed to luck, but I was set up to take action and to take advantage of the situation. And I think most people are. What about goals? Do you have goal setting? Do you use anything like that? Do you have high goals, or do you try to get small by goals? A mixture of both.
Well, all I do is I just try to do better. And I have like my, hey, I'm trying to do better, and then I have that by this time next year I want to be doing this particular thing, or I want to have this particular thing at this particular level, or something along those lines. But I don't have like, I'm definitely not, and maybe to my fault, I don't know, but I'm definitely not like a 10 years from now, because I used to do that. But it's like 10 years from now I wanted, this, that, and the other thing. For me personally, that never worked out, even if I was trying to drive towards it, because of things like I was talking about before. You start doing this and you're like, what, I don't like doing this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go do this instead. And then that completely derails what it is that I'm trying to do. So now I just go a year at a time, and whatever it is that I'm working on, I just try to amplify it in some way.
Yeah. Same here. I don't
and my ultimate goal is just living every day the way that I want to live it, and feeling good about what I'm doing, and
Nice.
just enjoying the time that I have. Like ultimately, that's
Yeah.
that's really what I want. So as long as all of that is in play, then I'm doing the right thing.
Okay, so how do you handle gossip and haters, Nick? Because I know there's a lot for everyone.
Yeah,
If you're successful, you have to have haters.
Yeah.
I don't care. You be the nicest person. Jesus Christ had haters. So how do you handle gossip and haters?
These days he probably had more than he probably had more than had more than most. So with haters, me personally, I just don't acknowledge them. And if I do end up having to acknowledge them, then usually I'll approach it in a sarcastic manner, just because I think it's fun. So if they're hating on me, then I'll be overly kind, or something along those lines, just to where I just kind of take the power out of whatever it is that they're trying to do. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care. Like if somebody's hating on me, or they're talking negatively about me, and I haven't done anything wrong, then I don't care. People that do know me, and people that I do business with, and that I do work with, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like they know the type of person I am. So it's like, if somebody's out there hating on me, I don't even care.
Nice. Okay, so what is one characteristic your loved ones know you by?
Being like completely chilled out most of the time.
Awesome.
So it's like, like if something's going on, people will be completely losing it, completely freaking out. And I'm like, you know what? It's fine. We'll be fine. We'll figure something out. You know what I mean? It's not like like I'm not like one to just be completely freaking out over something. Like I'm normally, relatively calm in most situations.
Nice. So, what is the one characteristics people that don't like you by? And sorry, one characteristic
I don't know.
people that don't like you.
I don't know, because they're probably not talking to me. So, so I'm not sure on that one, but it might even be the same exact thing. That particular thing might be what they don't like. I don't know.
You mean you haven't researched to hunt down your haters and kill them one by one in their sleep? Okay.
No, not yet. Not yet. Yeah, not
You
yet.
won't.
I've outsourced. I outsourced that.
Okay. What keeps you awake at night?
Nothing, man. I sleep like a baby. So, I think that's an important thing, and I want to, say that really quick. I think that it's an important thing that, like in my situation, like I've always done things that, like I'm not taking advantage of people. I'm not, doing anything that's causing harm on the planet. I'm not doing anything that is, like negative really in any real way. So because of that, like I've always been comfortable with, with what it is that I'm doing, because it's, you know, like if I was out there, you know, doing something, like if I was out there working for Philip Morris, I wouldn't sleep at night.
Yeah.
Or if I was out there working for General Motors or some oil company, probably wouldn't sleep at night. But, you know, for what it is that I do, you know, I sleep like a baby.
You know, it's funny. All three people I've, because this is a new series on interviewing successful people and their success. Everyone so far sleeps like a baby at night, and that's.
Nice.
I want to see if that continues. It'll probably be the same tomorrow because I'm actually interviewing Dan Brock from
Deadbeat Super Affiliate. Yeah. I love Dan. Dan is awesome.
I think he sleeps well at night because he's always like with pajamas and the robe, right? So
yeah.
So, do you have any success habits or morning rituals that you go by?
Absolutely. Wake up. I wake up. I meditate. I meditate typically for 20 minutes a day. If I'm in a hurry, then I might get in like 5 or 10 minutes, but typically I'm not in a hurry. So most times I'll meditate for 20 minutes a day. And then I will take a shower, and then I'll go to Starbucks. I'll hang out at Starbucks and just kind of plan my day on my phone, maybe answer some YouTube comments, that sort of thing, and just kind of, you know, start the day kind of loose. I know a lot of people will start the day like, hey, I got to start the day with momentum.
Yeah.
Me personally, not into that. Like I just kind of start the day just really loose. And then, you know, when I'm ready to come home and, you know, get to work, then I'll come home and sit down in front of my computer when I'm ready for it, and sit down and you know, I tend to be the most productive that way. So for me, my big morning thing is, which I won't even call it morning. Sometimes I'll just work late because, like I said, I enjoy what I do. Yeah. So sometimes I'll work late. Like last night, I worked until like 5:30 in the morning, which caused me to sleep late today. But you know, I didn't care. So basically, I, you know, stayed up late, woke up late also. But then tonight, you know, like I'll probably get up early tomorrow, and because of that, you know, I'll go to bed at a reasonable time tonight. So it's just kind of, you know, just being flexible and just kind of, you know, playing it as I go. But I wouldn't call it necessarily a morning routine, but it's a wake up routine.
Yeah, it's funny because I always catch you online, and I do the same thing. I sometimes work all night or all day or whatever. Sometimes don't sleep at all, and it's kind of like, oh, look, next one.
Yeah, and you know, like I think
time zone, so it's like we're always like on.
I know. I think that's part of one. I think that's part of just like enjoying what it is that you do, because you just don't want to stop and you just don't think to stop, right? But in addition to that, I think that's also part of being a creative. Also, is that you have that in your brain to where it's like, you know, like, wow, I'm really in flow right now. So I don't want to mess this up. I'm just going to keep going until this flow kind of, you know, leaves. And then I'm just going to kind of be in the moment working on what it is that I'm working on. And then, you know, once that passes, then I'll wrap it up and go to bed.
I usually do my editing at night, and, you know, things like that. And then if I don't have anything to do the next day, I'll loosely do the day, like you said. But I'll if I have to do something, I'll start with the thing I dislike most.
Oh, good.
You know what I mean? And just get it out the way. That phone call I don't want to make. Like
sure.
But this only happens whenever I don't know what to do. Like I lose track, right? Sometimes you're like, okay, go do this, and this. And I go, okay, I'm overwhelmed. You know what? I'll start with the most difficult thing. And that way everything else is just easy. And nice. Because there's a few things you can just do at a cafe and Starbucks, like you said, or you know, I'll you know, whatever. You'll find another place to do it, or another time where you're like, okay, you know what? I'll do my editing tonight. You know, I'll just go out for a coffee. And I really think a lot of people, they see all these success coaches and gurus out there being like, oh, 10x everything from night to day, never stop, you know. And they don't understand that, first of all, it's not like you wake up the next day and you do that. Okay, it doesn't work that way. It's kind of like going to gym. You have to like if you go to the gym and you start to pick up 200 kilos, you're gonna break your neck. You gotta like gradually get into that momentum, and that's why a lot of people give up and they go, oh, I can't do this. This is not me. And also, they have to understand that even these people have their downtimes. And you know me, I mean, I'm crazy. I work like crazy. I'm very dedicated. When I had cancer, I wrote 2 books, and I was running companies. I was like doing YouTube videos. I was 10xing it. A couple of months ago, I just let go. For about 2-3 months, I was doing nothing, almost zero, man. I was like, forget it. You know what I mean? I took on the project for a company. For a call center, for telecommunications and stuff like that. It took out a lot of me. And then when I finished that project, I just didn't want to do anything. I'm like, you know what? Hands up. And what I did was, what I love to do is study, which is YouTube and everything like that. And that's where you slowly saw me coming back to YouTube and commenting and everything. And then I slowly started making YouTube videos again, slowly. And then Suddenly my subscribers went up to 1,000 for some reason. I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice. And that kind of like got me going. Well, 900 or whatever. Now it's 1,000. So sometimes,
Congratulations
it's
on
okay
crossing
to
the
let go.
1,000 subscriber milestone.
Yeah, I got like 1,065 now, which is not bad.
Nice.
It's not bad.
Nice.
And you know, you can get a lot with people think it's not a lot, but let me tell you something. Even 100 subscribers, imagine standing up and talking to 100 people. Okay,
right.
That means
you're standing on a stage on YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube, if you like it or not, you're standing on a stage.
Yeah.
And what's funny, Paul, is a lot of people look at YouTube in terms of subscriber count, but look at it in terms of view count. Right? Like on your channel, right? It's not, you know, you have 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Right? But on your actual channel itself, how many views are you looking at? Well,
well, I don't know. I'm kind of scared to look right now, just in case this stream goes off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries, no worries.
But I'm not sure. But
yeah. So you didn't stand in front of 1,000 people. You have 53,000 views. You didn't stand in front of 1,000 people. You're standing in front of 53,000 people. Right? Because it's not just the subscribers. The subscribers are the people that stood up and clapped.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah, I'm coming back for this guy.
Yeah.
Great job. I'm coming back for this guy. But the 53,000, those are the people that you actually stood in front of. The people that actually clicked on your video. The people that actually watched the content that you have. And so that number's a lot bigger. And
if you have a good closing percentage, you can make a lot of money from those 100 people. And
yes.
We talked about that actually. We actually talked about that in our video. I'll actually link it up here as well. That's our video on your channel that we actually talked about on having a small amount of subscribers. You can still make a lot of money. And I know this because I was talking to a lot of YouTubers here in Greece that do these funny comedy sort of YouTube channels, and they have over 200,000, 300,000 people. They're making no money, man. And I told them, I'm not going to mention his name here because I think it's unfair, but I was talking to one of them when I had like maybe 300 or 400 subscribers. I was working at a telecommunication company. I actually bought him over because we're going to do a project for Greece. And when he told me how much money he's making, I told him how much money he's making. He was with his mouth open, and I was like, why are you even doing it, man?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Right.
You know, it's
it's crazy. Like the power that YouTube has in terms of being able to drive traffic and sales and awareness for what it is that you're working on is incredible. And it's extremely underestimated. It's also underestimated the importance of building that stuff in to videos that you already like, or to videos that you're making, even if you don't have everything else set up on the back end yet. Because you have that library that you're building. So like, as an example, like if let's say that you're starting out, at the very least in your very first video, you need to have at least an email list.
Yeah.
And then send people to that email list. And then if you continually send people to that email list, one, as your channel grows, that list gets staggering. Two is you can start reaching back to those people as you start getting other things in place that are gonna, be your monetization for your channel. So at the very least, starting out with an email address is extremely important.
And I'm going to say this right now because I went down this loop, and I'm first to admit I used to hate and dread making an email list. Even though I knew it was important,
sure,
I was putting it off. And my editor, when I wrote Success IAO, she helped me edit because she had transcribed a lot of stuff. I couldn't write a lot of stuff because I was sick and everything. But she was telling me, Paul, emails and funnels. And I used to teach funnels, but not online, you know what I mean? But the sales process was the same. And I was dreading it. And you know what? When I started building that email list and giving a book for free, and even just the electronic version, and just giving a sample book for free for the closers, the sales book, and started building my email list, that's when you amplify your money. That's where you get more money. Yeah. You skyrocket your sales because now you're building a following. Now you're building some people that you send value to every 3 or 4 days. Then every 10 emails, you sell them something, but you have control of this. And that's where it gets important. That's where it gets spicy, so to speak. And it's extremely important. So I guess have a target, have an objection, have something that you want your videos to accomplish, and then everything else can be side.
That's a critical point. Have your end goal in mind, what it is that you're actually trying to accomplish with your channel, and then for each individual video, just like if you walk into a presentation,
Yeah.
you know, to where you're going to be, you know, trying to sell something. You know, you walk in with, okay, well, in this particular situation to this particular potential client, this is the particular thing that I want to sell them. The
Right.
same exact thing on a per video basis. In this particular video, I'm crafting this video for the sake of getting people on my email list. This next video, I'm crafting this one for the sake of pulling in more subscribers. This other video, I'm crafting this one for the sake of getting sales to my book. This other video, I'm
Exactly.
crafting this one again for the sake of driving email subscribers. And you have that idea in mind for every single video that you upload.
Well, my actual goal, and I don't think I ever really talked about this to anybody, or you either, was to actually, when I got onto YouTube, other than to give information because I didn't know what was going to happen. I wanted to leave something behind. Same reason with my book and everything, right? Because
Sure.
of my health condition. But it was so I can get online, but also so I can build up myself and get my career going online and offline. Does that make sense? And also to have
Without
something
question
to
it
build
does.
up from. It wasn't really to, and that's why I was so vague with my channel. It was more of a become a famous entrepreneur rather than, other than my other goal, of course, other than sell books or talk about sales or talk about success. It was more of become a persona, if you will. Because don't forget, I was a successful artist and video director
Yeah.
before that. So it was, I just wanted to change my whole career to back to what it used to be, but use online methods.
And you know what's funny about that, Paul, is when it comes to YouTube, using YouTube as something that you can leverage for professional reasons is huge. So even if you don't have something that you're directly trying to sell, for anybody listening to this, even if you don't have something that you're directly trying to sell off of your channel per se, building that personal brand to where it's like, hey, this is my channel. Even if I'm not doing an email list, I'm making videos on a regular basis so that I can keep people coming in watching my videos. They can get familiar to me. They can subscribe to my channel. They keep coming back and they keep watching more videos so that while I'm sleeping, they're getting to know, like, and trust me. And you keep building that over and over and over again for a long period of time. When you do go and say, okay, you know what? I'm actually going to quit my job and I'm going to start trying to do this particular thing. Guess what? You have an entire audience that has your back and they're going to support whatever it is that you're trying to do because you've been giving them value for the past year, 2 years, 5 years, however long it is, and you've built that crowd of people that are into what it is that you're doing. They're more likely to support you. Like there's a comic, right? And this is when it comes to just online stuff in general, but YouTube especially because they get to know the person. But there's a comic book out there, or a comic artist called Oatmeal or The Oatmeal or something like that. They got into a lawsuit. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. They got into a lawsuit, and this lawsuit, they ended up losing the lawsuit, if I remember it correctly, and they had to pay like $25,000 or something like that.
Okay.
So they were really popular on like Reddit and that whole thing. So they made it public. Hey, you know, we got in this lawsuit. The amount of money that we had or that we have to pay is like, you know, $25,000 or something like that. The community that loved their stuff said, we've got your back. Here's like $250,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So whatever that amount was, they were able to take that amount, pay off their lawsuit, and then they took the rest of it and gave it to charity.
Yeah.
So with that, because they put it out there, right? In the meantime, while they were doing other stuff, they just kept putting their content, which in their case was drawings of comics, right? They just kept putting that content out there, kept putting it out there, adding value to other people. And when they needed that in return, the audience came through and said, hey, we love your stuff. We've got your back. $1 at a time, $10 at a time, $5 at a time. We're going to get you through this and also give a ton more, which you know, they ended up giving to charity.
Yeah, and also on another side note is my videos, even when they were short viewed and I had a few subscribers, opened up doors to me getting hired as a sales expert and an advisor in companies. They got me writing the book with Ben Gay III because living legend Ben Gay III, because he saw the videos like, oh wow, I didn't, you know, this guy knows about sales, and I, you know, other than the other things he saw, and you know, it spreads. It's vital to success. I think right now in 2018, if anybody asked me, you know, what's one of the things you have to get into to succeed in life, that would be video. That would be video. Don't forget, and by 2020, I think late 2019, Google says 85% of the internet will be video.
Yeah, Cisco.
Insane.
It's 70. Yeah, Cisco. In their projection said that it was going to be. I think it's like 70 79%, I believe, or 78% of all IP traffic is going to be internet video. And that includes actual video, that includes live streaming, that includes like Skype to Skype call, that includes what we're doing right now,
right,
as well. But getting into that space, being doing video, doing live streaming, like that whole thing. You don't have to do recorded videos because there's a learning curve that comes with that too.
Yeah.
But get yourself out there. Start doing live streams every few days on your Facebook page, right? Or on your Facebook account or on YouTube or something like that. But start getting yourself out there in video or live streaming type content so that you can build that personal brand and you can build an audience over time, because it takes time.
And so you can learn how to use it, because in 20, 30 years, you're not going to be working in an office. I'm telling you right now, you're going to be working online.
Yeah.
Offices will be computer screens. That's it. Everything's changing, and everything will change. And the more you get into it right now, it's like a lot of people ask me, what's the best way to invest in blockchain and cryptocurrency, because it's the trend. The best way to invest in it is by learning about it and investing anything around it. You don't have to buy crypto to invest in crypto, but learn about it, because that's going to be the next era of work and jobs. I gave this advice to one of my best friends, my best friend, and he started talking about blockchain and sending out newsletters at his work. It's a huge company in Greece, and they actually told him, listen, we're getting ready. We want to get onto the blockchain. Can you help us?
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
So we have to steer into that direction.
Amazing things happen when you start putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Amazing things. When you start putting yourself out there, if you're making videos, or like your friend, he's like, you know what? I'm going to start passing this newsletter around the office.
Yeah.
He put himself out there, right?
Yeah.
He took the risk out of everybody in the office and said, I'm going to put myself on the line. I'm going to share the knowledge that I have about this particular industry. And then the company reached back to him and said, hey, we're on board with what you're doing. You put yourself out there. We see the value in what it is that you're talking about. We want to get into it. How can you help?
Exactly. I'm becoming an advisor of an ICO in Poland. I'm actually moving to Poland. I made a couple of cryptocurrency videos on my YouTube channel. Obviously, I emailed them, and there was a process before that. But they actually saw my channel. They saw these videos, and now I'm an advisor in setting up their sales and marketing department. So again, you need to get out there. You need to get out there in video and decide what you want to do. And that's going back to what I was doing.
Start now.
Yeah,
because
start
like you were
right
saying,
now, which is a great.
Start now.
I'm jealous of that,
like a year from now.
By the way. That start now that you use, I always wanted to use it, but you know what? The problem is, it's yours, and I've been trying to find ways to go around it. You know what I mean? To start right now, and I cannot find anything better. So I put my now in there, and I do it. For anybody watching, it's one of the, you need some catchphrases, you need some things people remember you by that you repeat over and over. That's actually positive and influential. And Nick has one of my favorite ones, man. And I'm trying to find ways to go around it, but you know what? I'm going to blunt out, steal it pretty soon, man.
Go for it. Go for it. You know what? I don't own that phrase. I don't own the phrase, right? So
yeah, I'll be
like,
cool. Start
maybe,
right now.
Maybe I'll say it and somebody will think of you. Yeah, maybe I'll say it and somebody will think of you, or maybe you'll say it and somebody will think of me. So it's a win all the way around.
Yeah. So what else do you think? You give a lot of value on YouTube, and you give a lot of free value, Nick. And I think this is one of the things that contributed to your success, if not the most important thing that contributed to your success. Would you agree?
As far as what I give?
Yeah, because you give a lot of value for free information. And
Absolutely.
Everything.
I'm a fan of value in every shape and form. So like when it comes to YouTube, I'm putting value out there. When it comes to clients, tons of value. When it comes to anything that I've done, like you said, like I did your book cover. Like before this call right here, I made a graphic for you that that I would normally charge money for, just because I was like, hey, we're hopping on this call. Maybe you want to use this for for your background or whatever. And I made that background for you. Like I'm all about giving. I'm all about giving as much value as I can in every situation, because one, it makes you feel good. Two, people respond to it. And the more you give, the more seems to, and it sounds kind of like, weird or new agey or whatever, but the more that you give, and the more, positive impact that you're having, it seems the bigger the positive impact that comes back.
Exactly. And that's why I'm going to send you one of these mugs. Oh, cheers.
Like
it's a shame.
like the Tube Buddy mug.
Yeah.
one of my show sponsors, right? Like my two buddy mug that I have right here. Definitely get me a Success IAO cup for sure.
All right. So, what else do you think contributed to your success, Nick?
Consistency, adding
Consistency.
tons of value, consistency, and caring about my audience. Because there's a lot of people that are making videos for YouTube and they are making them with malicious motives. Not necessarily malicious, but you know,
Selfish.
their motives. Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I want to make money just like everybody else does. But I started with, okay, I'm gonna do my email thing, and I'm gonna add value to people. I'm gonna share with people, you know, information that they're searching for. I'm gonna help solve problems, right?
Yeah.
And then as the whole thing grew, I started seeing more and more of the actual impact that I was having, and all that has done is just fueled my desire to give even more value to people. Like when I went to Vid Summit last year, that's a video marketing conference in California in October. And I'll be speaking at it this coming year.
Are you doing the
when I
European
went,
one, by the way, by any chance?
that's VidCon, I think that you're thinking of. I'm going to VidCon also.
I might see you.
Okay, well, I'm not going to the one in Europe that I know of, but I'm definitely going to the one in the States.
Oh, okay.
But there I actually got to see for the first time. I got to actually meet you know, a nice amount of people that watch my videos and things like that. And I got to actually look into people's eyes when they were telling me the changes that they were able to make on their channels or in their lives based on the information that I had given. And in addition to seeing it in the comments, in addition to reading the emails that people send you saying, you know, hey, you know, you helped me do this, that, and the other thing, actually looking into somebody's eyes or a bunch of people's eyes when they're telling you this stuff, saying, you know, the difference that you've made, it really fuels your fire in terms of like, you know what, I'm giving away the farm. Because, you know, because it's doing something helpful for people, and it's adding tons of value to other people. And because of that, in my particular situation, because of the type of content that I make, there's the YouTube creator community, right? And then there's a handful of us in there that are kind of like the go-to people for, you know, hey, what's happening on YouTube right now? Hey, what's some things that I can do to help make my channel grow, or to get more subscribers, or to convert subscribers faster, you know, things like that. And being at the center of other creators gives me the opportunity to create additional positive ripples, because any way that I can help other creators, that I can help other people get their message out, that I can help other people do something positive for the world through their content, then that's also helping them reach more people as well. So because of that, after Vid Summit, I started taking that role a lot more serious than I did previously, because of that, because I was able to see the human side of that. Because reading comments, cool, getting emails, awesome, but when you're actually, you know, having those conversations with people in real life, it's a totally different thing. But all of that started and starts with just giving. Because a lot of people, you know, especially Paul, like, you know, you've got, you know, success coaches, you've got sales coaches, you've got everybody, and they think, you know, well, if I give away everything, then nobody's going to want to hire me. Wrong. Because here's what happens. When you're giving and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to tell people the stuff that I know, right? I'm going to tell people stuff that I know. I'm going to help people. The people that can't afford it, the people that can't afford me, they're still getting value. They're still getting the information that can make that positive impact in their life. But in addition to that, the people that can afford me, they're getting customized services that are directly applicable to them, right? And then so for the people that can't, yeah, sure, they're going to have to go through my video library and find the stuff that applies and kind of put some of the pieces together themselves. But that information is all there. It's all freely available, and they can go there and they can get it. And instead of hoarding that information, for anybody that does any type of, you know, information like you and I do, Paul, anybody that hoards that information, you're damaging yourself. Yeah. Because you're not giving. And when you give, not only are you helping the people that are watching that can't afford it, you're generating leads and awareness in the people that can, but even more so, you're sharing your expertise on a bunch of different levels. And the more that you do that, the more that you're demonstrating how much you actually know, which is extremely valuable.
And you always know more, right? You can always, or at least the
well, you're always ahead. By the time somebody catches up, you know what I mean? By the time it's like, oh, okay, I know what's going on. You're like, oh, well, I was talking about that 6 months ago. Right.
People that don't want to share advice are people that don't know enough or do not always constantly learn. That's what I know. You know what I mean? The people that are scared. I just say everything. When I went and did a couple of seminars, well, actually, I was took over a call center to teach them how get more sales on the phone, how to close more, and stuff like that. You know, they asked me to do a seminar. I was going to do like a 4-hour seminars on success, mindset, and sales on the phone, how to sell more. And what I did was some of the friends of the person that had the call center from other call centers asked to come by. And also from the big company, the actual company that we're selling for, they wanted to see it. And the owner is like, are you going to tell them everything? I'm like, yeah, bring them over, seat them down. I'm going to give them all their information for free. And he's like, but if you tell them the information for free, how does that get us ahead? I'm like, they're not going to be able to do it, man. And even if they do, it doesn't matter. We're going to be so far ahead of them. And you know, it's a very hard thing for people to understand is give that information for free. Take it. It's yours. You know what I mean? I will benefit later or in a magnitude of ways much larger than what people can possibly imagine.
Yes.
Nick, your success advice that you can give right now for people that want to become successful YouTubers?
Start right now. Figure out what it is that you want to do and start taking the steps towards that. Because the only thing separating you from whatever it is that you're trying to do is time and effort. Right? Time, effort, and knowledge. We'll break that into 3. Time, effort, and knowledge. So if you're here and you're trying to get here, you got to start. You have to start taking those steps every single day. You have to start, and you have to educate yourself, and you have to keep taking those daily efforts in order to keep moving you towards whatever it is that you're trying to do. And if you keep taking those steps every single day, before you know it, you're going to sit there and you're going to say, holy crap, I can't believe I just pulled this off. I can't believe that I'm in this position right now that when I first started, I was initially trying to get here, and now I'm actually here, right? So start now, take those steps every single day, keep educating yourself, keep learning, and just keep moving forward. And make sure that you have that end goal in place in terms of like, this is how I kind of want things to be. This is how I want my life to be. And then reverse engineer the steps that you have to take in order to get there. Excellent.
And now I'm going to put you on the spot. Three tips you can give YouTubers right now to help them grow on YouTube that you have not talked about on the channel before.
Woo! I talk about everything, man. Like we just talked about, I give freely. Right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you got videos coming up. Whoever's watched this video up to now, we're an hour and something in. Most people won't have watched this long, I think. Anyway, I would have. 3 tips that you can give people right now that you have not said it before on YouTube.
I give freely, man. So I've said before, make sure that you're adding value, because I'm going to break that into what's the most important. Okay. Right? Add value to the people that are watching your content. Think of them first, right? Because if you don't have the audience in mind, then people aren't going to respond. So think of the audience. 2, be consistent with what it is that you're doing. 3, you don't have to have the best stuff in the world in terms of equipment and all that stuff, but try to put some type of production together, because people do respond to it. If everything, looks good, sounds good, all of that, just like, you and I were talking about before, Paul, when you reached out to me, I saw your stuff and I was like, this looks great, sounds great, and he's adding tons of value. I'm in. Right. And because of that, you have a video sitting on my channel now. I'm getting ready to cross like 145,000 subscribers, and you have a video sitting on my channel that we made, like a year ago that you had like, under 200 subscribers at the time, because it looked good, sounded good, and you were adding tons of value to people. Yeah. Right.
And if you think about it, you grew 5 times and I grew 5 times. So if you look at the percentage of growth, 200 times 5 is 1,000, right? 30,000 times 5 is what? What you have now, I think, right? 150,000, yeah. So it's the same amount, and that's what people don't understand. They should not look at numbers. They should look at growth percentage as well.
Right, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever metrics it is that you lean on. In some cases you might not look at subscriber count in terms of those kind of things. For some people, like I tell people to and I tell clients this, it doesn't necessarily mean, like, if you have a lot of numbers on your channel, that isn't necessarily what makes you a success. Find out what makes you a success and work towards that. For some people, it might be an email. That first email that you get where somebody says, hey, I just watched one of your videos. I was struggling with this particular thing. And because of that, you actually, I was having this difficult time in my life. And because of that, I was able to overcome this particular problem, or you were an inspiration in some way or whatever, and you were able to help me through that. For some people, that is the success, right?
Feeling.
It's not the subscriber count, it's not the view count, it's making that impact with that one person. For other people, that success is, you know, for every single person that you add to your email list. Other people, it's the traffic you're driving to your website. You know, it's for some people, it's like, hey, once I'm in this particular position, once I'm standing on a stage, then I'm going to go ahead and call myself a success, because that's what I'm after, right? So get that metric in place for what it is that is important to you and for what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And don't think about the subscriber count and the view count as much. Think about, is what I'm doing driving me towards whatever, you know, success metric that I have? That's what's most important, because the subscriber count and view count, if you get caught up in that, it can drive you crazy. So get your proper success metrics in mind in terms of what it is that you're trying to accomplish and how you can gauge if you're actually heading towards your goals or not.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask one last question.
That was a little long-winded, but I hope I got the point across.
What is I'm gonna ask you one last question, but before I do, is there anything else you would like to add before I ask the last important, crucial question in this interview?
What I would like to add is just hey, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking this time to have this conversation and actually asking me to come on the show. I appreciate it. It means a lot. Thank you.
Nick, I appreciate it more, man. You know that. So anybody watching this, by the way, go ahead and like this video, and don't forget to check out Nick's channel. I'm going to ask him one last question right now. I'm leaving all the links down below. And yeah, if you like, and if you want to watch more videos like this, subscribe and comment down below that you want to watch more interviews like this. And
let us know like what it is. Like if you're commenting, let us know what it is that you actually like the most. If there's like any particular thing, you know, any particular type of information or something like that, let us know what it is that you like the most, because when we get feedback like that on anything that we create, that lets us have deeper insights into better ways that we can add value to people. So let us know specifically in the comments what it was. If you watch this far in the video, let us know what it is that you liked most, or the best piece of information that you got out of this video. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah. And I know I threw out a lot of call to actions at the same time, but I didn't want to throw them in within the video because I didn't want to stop this discussion. I was just having a great discussion. Sure. I forgot all about call outs, subscriptions, whatever. Like, you know, so are you ready?
Hey, as long as the value's there.
Yeah. As
long as the value's there, it's okay.
So, ready for that last question, Nick? And you have to be honest with the answer.
I'm nervous. The buildup has got me like, I'm like, oh gosh, what's he going to say? Yeah, this buildup has been heavy.
So, what did you really think of? And this has to be the absolute truth. It has to be honest answer. What did you really think of the last Star Wars movie?
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. As soon as you started saying, what did you think of? I was like, oh no, he's going Star Wars on me. I know he's going Star Wars on me. The most important question is a Star Wars one. If you're watching this, you know, you can probably see the Stormtrooper helmet back there. I thought it was okay. I thought it looked cool, but I wasn't, you know, I didn't think it was fantastic. I thought that, without giving spoilers, just in case somebody hasn't seen it, I thought that, the way that they handled the old Jedi there was it was just a little sudden, and I didn't care much for that and the way the whole thing went down. I thought they made it a little bit hokey in terms of like Leia, you know, and like spacewalking and all this other crazy stuff, and it was just kind of like it looked cool visually, fantastic music, awesome. You know, like some of the scenes pretty cool, but there were definitely some hokey parts that I wasn't too fond of.
Okay, I'm a little bit more blunt and I do give spoilers.
Okay.
I thought
in that case, the fact that they did that to Luke Skywalker, where he's just like sitting there and then just like vanishes, I get it. He like used up all of his energy and all that stuff, and he moved on to the Force. And of course, within Star Wars, because he moved on and he's like a part of the Force now, that actually makes him more powerful. So in future videos, future movies, then, you know, he's technically going to be more powerful. Yeah, he's going to be a more powerful, you know, Force, which is cool. But how they did the whole thing about him like coming and being like where they could actually like fight and all that stuff, and then Kylo Ren wasn't able to actually tell that, you know, that he was projecting himself and all that. It's like, come on, this dude's like also in tune with the Force, but he can't tell that you're like not really there. And it's just kind of like, come on. And then Leia gets blown out of a spaceship, and she's like willing herself through space. Yeah, through space. She's willing herself through space, saying, you know, like, hey, I'm going to go back to the spaceship. She gets in, you know, and it's like, you know, come on.
Because, you know, the Force allows you not to breathe.
Harry Potter. This is Star Wars, right?
Yeah, those parts were crazy. Plus, I think Darth Vader wasn't as masculine as Darth Vader should be. You know what I mean? I always picture Darth Vader, you know, with the mask. The way he took off his mask and he has no mask, I didn't care for that too much. You know, it just took away from the whole Star Wars thing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, okay. Thank you, Nick. I really appreciate your time. That was great. I really hope we can do this again. And yeah, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. Thank you again for having me on. I appreciate it, man. It's a great conversation. Love the energy, love the momentum, and just you know, how everything went with this, man. This is fantastic.
Great. So take care, and all you guys out there, don't forget to visit Nick's channel. That's Nick Nimmin. You will be linked down below.
You can go to nicknimmin.com and you can find me there. nicknimmin.com and you can find me there. Links, all roads lead to Rome. If you just go to nicknimmin.com.
Great. Take care, man. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.